Last week we experienced the aggressive bullish movement on gold, and you see it may continue to pump up for next week. So before we continue with the top analysis for this week, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe button to show the support. Okay, let us review really quick on last week trades, on trades that we took on last week. Okay, last week we got this entry. It was long position on Goldie from 4H on 4H demand zone. Very good entry. Price retraced back to our entry point. We saw a 15-minute structure shifty that give us confirmation for taking a long position from that 4H demand. It was very good trade. If you saw last week top day analysis, I hope you got some money. Okay, that was trades, very good trades, and then that is feedback. That is feedback, very clear feedback. Let me show you again. This feedback, you succeeded to make 1.4k. Succeeded to make 1.4k last week on that trade only. See, withdraw 900. It was very good trade. It was very nice trade. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue with the top analysis for next week. Let's start from weekly time frame. Weekly time frame, Goldie. We start with the Goldie weekly time frame, and then we'll see another pairs. Goldie on weekly time frame, you can see here price is already taking out this low. Price is already take out that low, so clearly liquidity sweep. So right now we are heading to this external range liquidity. We have very clear external range liquidity. So right now I hope price will raise up until that area, and then later we'll get to a pullback. So last week candle closed the bullish with a heavy momentum. You can see last week candle closed the bullish with a heavy momentum. So also it closed the above previous week. It closed the above previous week. What? Previous week candle high. So that indicates continuation of upward trend. We're supposed to find buys from discounted zone, and then we'll drop to lower time frame to find a point of interest available on discounted zone, and then we'll target that external range liquidity. Okay, so let's shift to daily time frame. On daily time frame, I have this market structure. Friday candle closed the bullish, very good. To close the bullish, as you see here, it closed the bullish, but it take out this high. Daily time frame, we have that liquidity, external liquidity. So have that liquidity sweep. After liquidity sweep, expect the pullback. After liquidity sweep, expect pullback, and then when we get pullback here on demand, we have a demand zone on daily time frame. Expected price may retrace back to this area, and then later we'll find buys to that external range liquidity. So let's put this daily demand very clear at daily demand. Okay, so we'll shift it to lower time frame to find a clear point of interest on that discount level to reduce risky, and then we'll target that external range liquidity. Okay, so let's see on 4H time frame. 4H time frame here, 4H time frame, we have this market structure on discount level where there is that daily demand. You can see there is also 4H breaker block, which is unmitigated one. Have that unmitigated breaker block. That is unmitigated breaker block. For it, unmitigated breaker block. It has high probability because you can see there is inducement here. There is inducement here. There is that inducement. Very clear. this inducement. So expect next week price may drop. After liquidity sweep, we saw on daily time frame, it is already take out liquidity, but liquidity may experience pullback to that 4H breakup block, and then finds buys from that area or target exchange liquidity. So that is our first point of interest. That is our first point of interest for next week. We'll find buys from that area, target that exchange liquidity that we saw on daily time frame. So that is our first point of interest. Second point of interest, here on 4H time frame, you can see there is this order block here, that order block, which is inducement. So expecting when price approach this area, it will create a little pullback because we have inducement below here. It may create a little pullback and then it will drop to take out this inducement, and then we'll buy from that area. Expect it to see something like that. Okay, so when we shift it to H1 time frame, let's see on H1 time frame what is going on H1 time frame. H1 time frame have this market structure. On the left side, you saw price is already take out this buy side liquidity. After liquidity sweep, you can see on H1 time frame here, you have this structure. Price created what? Price created this IFVG. We have inverted now. That is not correct. That is not the correct IFVG. That is not correct IFVG. Let's see, let's zoom out if there was fair value gap there or not. When you use horizontal line, there is no fair value gap there. So that is not correct IFVG. On supply, on premium, on this, premium zone have that supply on H1 time frame, have that unmitigated supply. Also, right now, price can see is around that H1 imbalance. Price is around that H1 imbalance. So expect the next week to see price will retrace back to that supply and then get a short position to that area. That on that area, so there is 4H order block, so price may create a pullback from here. So we'll target this area, and then later we'll find buys from 4H breaker block to upside. So first entry on gold for Monday, we'll find some sells from these four one head supply. Wait confirmation. When you see confirmation, we'll get in for short position, and then we'll target that area. Target that area. Because that is inducement, directly we may target this 4H breaker block. It will be very, very good entry. So that is my view for next week on gold. When price approach any point of interest, even this H1 supply, you have to wait confirmation because price may continue to push up. So confirmation is very, very important. Confirmation is very, very important. So when price approach this H1 supply rate confirmation, and then we'll take short position to this 4H breakup block, and then when price reach this 4H breakup block, wait confirmation for structure shift, and then we'll find buys target that exchange liquidity. I hope it is very, very clear. That is Goldie. Let's see another pair, GBPUSD. GBPUSD here on 4H time frame already. We have liquidity sweep. We have this liquidity sweep. price take out this high, you can see very well have that liquidity sweep. After liquidity sweep, expect a pullback. Expect a pullback. Expect a pullback to where? Expect a pullback at least to this level. We have that support level. Okay. Let's shift it to lower time frame. On lower time frame here, lower time frame, we have this market structure. 30 minute already price created a shifty. We have a market structure shifty, very good. Also on left side, it already clear liquidity, so that is pullback to premium zone, and then expect bearish continuation for on next week. So for when you shift it to 15 minutes time frame, you can see there is that supply zone. Price reacted on that supply zone. Very good reaction. So expect next week price may continue to drop until this area. Price may continue to drop until it approaches that support area. Here on left side, you have that liquidity. So there is high probability price to drop to take out that liquidity on GBP USD. I see that move. Okay. For the entry, you can see 15 minutes here. Also, we have another supply zone. So wait confirmation on this supply. When you see confirmation, can hold that short position, target that area. It will be very good setup. Euro USD on Friday, as I should take this short position. There was inducement here, supply list above, price mitigate supply, and then we took that long. It is short. We took that short position, target that sell side liquidity. So what to expect on next week? What to expect on next week? Let's see. For H time frame, on 4H time frame, there is that market structure. Very good market structure. Have impulsive move, so expect a pull back to this level. It is very strong level, and then later price may continue to raise up. Have that strong support level. It has overlap with that imbalance. To overlap with that imbalance, so it will be very good and strong support to find buys for next week. Also, so last week there was that kind of support on Goldie. There was that kind of support on Goldie. This one, you see, this kind of support that overlap with the FBG. It is very powerful. Very powerful. Support zone. You can see we took long position on gold last week on the same point of interest that is available on EURUSD here. Support level, it overlap with the imbalance here. So expecting when price approaches this level, there is high probability to continue pushing much higher. See, there's high probability to continue push up. Okay, that is it for EURUSD. So low time frame can find some point of interest for short positions. 30 minutes, you can see there is very clear structure shifting. Very clear structure shifty. There is high, low, get a structure shifty here. So that is inducement. Expect the price will pull back again, and then we'll find some sales position from that premium level. So here you have this imbalance located on deep premium level. So expect the pullback to that level, and then target the support. Okay, target that support next week. That is it for next week. So for more entries, more setup, you can subscribe our premium group. We'll get accurate entries. Monthly fee is $20. 6 month fee is 100. See you on Monday.